200 guests, my wife in her best dress, on the ground, covered in mud. My son put his arm around his bride and whispered something that made her laugh. I stood there for a moment, then I walked slowly to the microphone. No one expected that. I tapped it once. The band stopped. Every face in that room turned toward me. Her own father set down his champagne glass. I spoke for less than 30 seconds. Before the cake was ever cut, I had already called my lawyer. And the wedding was never the same after that. I'm standing on the terrace of the Whitfield estate watching my wife get pushed into the mud by my son's brand new wife, and the only thing I can think is how quiet it is. 200 people just watched it happen and nobody's saying a word. The string quartet keeps playing like nothing's wrong. Someone laughs nervously near the bar. My daughter Jennifer is already moving toward Catherine, but she's 20 feet away, and it's going to take her a few seconds to get there. Catherine is on her side in the garden bed. The bed they watered this morning so the flowers would look perfect for photos. Her champagne-colored dress, the one she spent 2 months finding, is covered in dark wet mud from shoulder to hem. She's not moving yet, just lying there. And I'm watching from across the terrace where I've been making polite conversation with Paul Prescott about his construction business, and my brain is doing that thing where it processes information in the wrong order. First I noticed that Catherine's shoes came off. Then I noticed that Madison, my daughter-in-law for exactly 2 hours now, is already turning away from what she just did. Then I noticed Trevor, my son, 35 years old, just married, walking up behind Madison and putting his arm around her waist. He leans down, whispers something in her ear. She laughs, not a nervous laugh, not an embarrassed, "Oh my God, I can't believe that just happened" laugh. A real laugh, the kind you make when someone says something genuinely funny. That's when the cold thing settles into my chest. Not anger yet. Something else. Something that feels like watching a door close that you didn't know was open. Paul Prescott next to me says, "Jesus Christ, what just happened?" I don't answer him because I'm already moving. Not toward Catherine. Jennifer's got that. But toward the band setup near the back of the terrace where they've been getting ready for dinner service. The band leader sees me coming. He's a younger guy, maybe 40. And he's holding a microphone in one hand and a set list in the other. "Can I borrow that?" I point at the microphone. He looks confused for half a second, then hands it to me without asking why. I walk to the center of the terrace. The flagstones are warm under my feet. The sun is starting to drop behind the oak trees at the edge of the property, and everything has that golden hour glow that photographers pay extra for. I can see the florist's arrangements on every table, white roses and hydrangeas, $42 per centerpiece. I know because I paid the invoice last month. I can see the ice sculpture near the bar starting to melt in the heat. I can see 200 faces turning toward me as I tap the microphone once, and the sound echoes across the terrace, and the string quartet finally stops playing. Trevor and Madison are near the bar. Madison has a fresh drink in her hand already. Champagne, looks like. And the expression on her face is the expression of someone who has already decided that what just happened wasn't a big deal, and everyone else needs to get over it. Trevor looks different, nervous now, like he's just realized something's about to happen and he doesn't know what. Paul Prescott sets down his champagne glass. His wife Caroline's face changes from polite curiosity to something harder. I look at Trevor first, then at Madison, then at everyone else. "Thank you all for being here today," I say. My voice sounds steady even though my hands aren't. Unfortunately, Catherine and I will be leaving now. We won't be staying for dinner. I can see Madison's expression shift. She wasn't expecting this. And I want everyone here to know something. I pause. Let it sit for a second. I will not be associated with cruelty. Not today, not ever. I hand the microphone back to the band leader. He takes it like it might burn him. The terrace is completely silent now. Even the birds have stopped. I walk across the flagstones to where Jennifer is kneeling next to Catherine. She's gotten most of the mud off Catherine's arms, but the dress is ruined, and we all know it. Catherine's crying, not sobbing, just tears running down her face while she stares at nothing. I take Catherine's hand. "We're leaving." She nods, doesn't say anything, just nods. Jennifer looks up at me. "Dad, I'll help her to the car. I've got her." As we walk toward the parking lot, slowly, because Catherine's shoes are still somewhere in the garden bed and she's barefoot now, I hear Trevor call out behind us, "Dad, wait." I don't wait. I don't turn around. I just keep walking. In the parking lot, Catherine finally speaks. She pushed me. Her voice is very small. Raymond, she put both hands on my shoulders and pushed me. Hard, in front of everyone. I know. Why would she do that? I help Catherine into the passenger seat. Her dress leaves mud on the leather, but I don't care. I close the door, walk around to the driver's side, get in, start the engine. The air conditioning comes on and it's too cold, but neither of us moves to adjust it. Why would she do that? Catherine asks again. I know why. I've known for months, maybe longer. I just didn't want to see it clearly. Madison has been escalating for 18 months, since the engagement. Small things at first. Talking over Catherine at family dinners, correcting her in front of other people, making comments about Catherine's clothes being outdated or her decorating style being too traditional. Last Thanksgiving, Madison told Catherine her green bean casserole was trying too hard to impress. At the engagement party in December, Madison seated Catherine at a side table away from the immediate family. When Catherine asked about it later, Madison said it was a venue issue. Trevor backed her up. 2 months ago, April, right after the final dress fitting, Madison told Trevor in front of Catherine that once they were married, things were going to change around here. Catherine told me about it that night. I said it was probably just wedding stress. Madison planning a big event, wanting control, normal bride stuff. I was wrong. I drive us to the Marriott downtown where we're staying for the weekend. Help Catherine out of the car. A couple getting out of their own car stares at Catherine's ruined dress but doesn't say anything. I walk Catherine through the lobby. The desk clerk's eyes go wide, but she keeps her mouth shut, and into the elevator. In the room, Catherine goes straight to the bathroom. I hear the shower start. I sit on the edge of the bed and pull out my phone. My hands are shaking. Not a lot. Just enough that I have to set the phone down on the nightstand and breathe for a minute before I pick it up again. I open my banking app. Navigate to the account I set up 5 years ago. The one Trevor doesn't know about. The one I've been using to quietly move money into his life without making a big deal about it. Over 5 years, the total is more than $200,000. Car repairs that became gifts. Credit card balances I paid off without telling him. The down payment on the house he and Madison were supposed to close on next Friday. $60,000, sitting in escrow right now, scheduled to transfer Monday morning. And the wedding costs. $42,000. Photographer, florist, rehearsal dinner venue, honeymoon suite upgrade, transportation. Everything except the ceremony venue and catering. Paul and Caroline Prescott paid for those. I paid for everything else. Secretly. Because Trevor asked me to and said Madison couldn't know because she's sensitive about money. When I insisted on signing the vendor contracts directly instead of putting Trevor's name on them, easier for accounting purposes, I told him. He agreed without thinking about it too hard. He didn't realize then what those signatures would mean. That I'd be the client of record. That I'd have the authority to cancel. I also opened the other account, the education fund, the one I set up 2 years ago when Trevor mentioned that he and Madison were planning to start a family soon. $50,000. Ready to grow for grandchildren who don't exist yet. Madison pushed my wife into the mud at her own wedding reception and laughed about it. Before I make any calls, I do one other thing. I find Vanessa Kim's Instagram, Madison's maid of honor. I saw her filming the whole thing on her phone, standing off to the side near the gift table, holding her phone up, smiling like she was capturing something funny. I scroll through her stories. She's already posted a clip to a private group. I can see the view count, 8 people so far. I screenshot everything I can find, save the video file to my own cloud storage. Then I make 3 phone calls. First call, my financial advisor, Richard. He answers on the second ring. Richard, I need you to halt a transfer that's scheduled for Monday morning. $60,000 from my secondary account to Trevor Dalton and Madison Prescott. It's the house down payment for their closing on Friday. Cancel it. Silence on the other end. Then, Ray, are you sure? That's going to kill their closing. I'm completely sure. Can I ask what happened? No. Okay. I hear him typing. Done. Transfer is canceled. They'll get notification from escrow on Monday that the funds didn't arrive. Thank you. I hang up. Second call. The wedding photographer, Angela Chen. I paid her invoice, $6,000, last month. My name is on the contract as the client because I'm the one who paid. She answers on the 4th ring. Hello? Angela, this is Raymond Dalton. I'm calling about the wedding you shot today for Trevor Dalton and Madison Prescott. Oh, hi, Mr. Dalton. Yes, beautiful ceremony. I got some amazing shots. Angela, I need you to stop working on those photos. I'm revoking my permission for you to deliver any images to the bride and groom. Silence. Then, I'm sorry, what? Check your contract. My name is on the client line. I paid your invoice. I'm instructing you not to deliver the photos to Trevor or Madison. You can refund me the money or keep it. I don't care. But they don't get the images. Mr. Dalton, I've already gotten 3 texts from Madison asking when she can see proofs. Read your contract, Angela. I'm the client of record. What I'm telling you to do is legal and binding. If you have a problem, call your lawyer. I hang up before she can respond. Third call. The florist. Same conversation. A man named David who sounds confused at first and then angry. I don't care. I tell him the same thing. Check the contract. My name is on it. Don't deliver the preserved bouquet Madison ordered. Keep the money or refund it. Up to him. Then I call the rehearsal dinner venue. They still owe me a partial refund for the bar tab that came in under estimate. I tell them to keep it. Then I call the Ritz-Carlton, where I paid for Trevor and Madison's honeymoon suite upgrade. I cancel it. The reservation reverts to the standard room Trevor booked on his own credit card. Every vendor I contracted with directly. Every service I paid for. Every upgrade I funded. I cancel, revoke, or halt everything I legally can. It takes 45 minutes. When Catherine comes out of the bathroom, she's wearing the hotel robe, and her hair is wet. Her eyes are red. She sits on the edge of the bed next to me. What are you doing? She asks. Her voice sounds hollow. Taking back what's mine. She looks at the phone in my hands. Raymond, she pushed you into the mud, Catherine. At her own wedding. In front of 200 people. And then she laughed about it. I'm not funding that. I'm not rewarding it. Catherine is quiet for a long time. Then she says, what did you cancel? I tell her, all of it. The down payment, the photographer, the flowers, the honeymoon upgrade, everything. When I finish, she's crying again. They're going to lose the house. I know. Trevor's going to hate you. Probably. Raymond, this is going to destroy your relationship with him. Maybe. But I can't look at myself in the mirror if I keep giving money to someone who thinks what Madison did today was acceptable. Catherine puts her hand on mine. We sit like that for a while. Outside, the sun is setting. I can hear traffic on the street below. Someone laughing in the hallway. I've been thinking about something, Catherine says finally. About why she did it. Tell me. I was coming back from the restroom. I saw Madison near the garden stairs. She was talking to someone. I think it was her mother. When she saw me, she said something to her mother and Caroline walked away. Then Madison turned to me and said, we need to talk about your behavior today. Your behavior? That's what she said. I asked her what she meant. She said I'd been inserting myself into her wedding all day, being too present, making it about me instead of about her. I told her I didn't know what she was talking about. She said, this is my day, Catherine. Not yours. You need to back off. Catherine's voice is very steady now. I said, Madison, I'm just here to support Trevor. And that's when she put her hands on my shoulders and pushed. I sit with that. What happened right before? During the day? Nothing. I helped her bustle her dress before photos. I made sure the flower girls had their baskets. I talked to guests. Normal mother of the groom things. She pauses. Actually, there was one thing. During cocktail hour, someone asked me where Trevor was, and I said he and Madison were taking photos by the fountain. That's all. I told someone where my son was, and Madison heard that. I don't know. Maybe. So, that's what it was. Madison decided that Catherine answering a question about Trevor's location was Catherine making the wedding about herself. And Madison decided the correct response was physical violence. We order room service that night. Neither of us eats much. We watch television without watching it. At some point, Catherine falls asleep on top of the covers. I stay awake thinking about Trevor's face when he whispered something to Madison that made her laugh, thinking about the 18 months of small escalations I didn't take seriously enough. Thinking about the fact that I just canceled my son's house closing and he doesn't know it yet. At 2 in the morning, my phone buzzes. A text from Jennifer. Dad, what happened after you left? Everything fell apart. Call me when you can. I don't call. I turn off the phone and close my eyes and try to sleep. Before I tell you what happened Monday morning when Trevor finally realized what I'd done, I need to ask you something. If someone pushed your wife into the mud at your own son's wedding, in front of 200 people, and your son just stood there and laughed, what would you do? Would you keep funding their life like nothing happened? Or would you draw a line? Because what came next changed everything between us forever. Sunday morning, Jennifer calls at 8. I'm awake. I've been awake since 5. Catherine is still sleeping. Dad, what happened yesterday? After you left, everything fell apart. What do you mean? Madison was furious you took the microphone. She kept saying you ruined her day. Trevor spent the whole reception trying to calm her down. Half the guests left early. It was a disaster. Good. Dad. Jennifer, she pushed your mother into mud, then laughed about it. I'm not going to pretend that's acceptable. I know. I saw it. It was horrible. A pause. But Dad, I have to tell you something. Trevor's panicking about something. He's been calling me every hour since last night. He won't say what it is, but he sounds scared. He'll figure it out tomorrow. What does that mean? He'll know Monday morning. Jennifer is quiet for a moment. Dad, what did you do? I stopped funding cruelty. That's not an answer. It's the only one I have right now. She sighs. He's going to call you. Be ready. I am. Monday morning, Trevor calls at 7:45. I don't answer. He calls again. I decline. Third time I answer. Dad, what did you do? Good morning, Trevor. The escrow company just called. They said the down payment funds aren't coming. They said the transfer was canceled by you. That's correct. What? Why? Because I'm not funding a house for someone who pushed your mother into the mud. Silence. Then, Dad, that was... Madison didn't mean it was an accident. Trevor, I watched it happen. She put both hands on Catherine's shoulders and shoved. That's not an accident, that's assault. She was emotional. The wedding was stressful. She and Mom had gotten into an argument earlier. About what? He hesitates. Madison felt like Mom was inserting herself too much, being too present. Madison just wanted space, so she pushed her into mud. It wasn't like that. Dad, please. We close on the house Friday. If we don't have the down payment, we lose it. We lose the earnest money. Everything. You should have thought about that before you put your arm around your wife while your mother was lying in the dirt. I didn't laugh. Trevor, I was standing right there. I saw you whisper something to Madison. She laughed. You smiled. He's quiet. I was trying to de-escalate. Madison was upset. I was trying to keep her calm. By making it seem like what she did was acceptable? Dad, I'm begging you, please. Transfer the money. I'll talk to Madison. She'll apologize. We'll fix this. No. Dad. Trevor, do you have any idea how much money I've quietly put into your life over the past 5 years? The wedding costs I covered so Madison wouldn't know? The car repairs? The credit card payments when you were between bonuses? The down payment? More than $200,000 because you're my son and I wanted to help. And you thanked me by watching your wife assault your mother and doing nothing. I didn't know what to do. You defend her. That's what you do. You step between them. You tell Madison that was unacceptable. You help your mother up. You do literally anything other than make it seem like a joke. I'm sorry. So am I. I hang up. 10 minutes later, the photographer calls. Mr. Dalton, I'm getting calls from the bride asking where her photos are. I told her what you said. She's threatening to sue me. Let her sue. You'll win. Check the contract. My name is on the client line. That afternoon, my phone buzzes with a text from Madison. Not the call I was expecting. A text, carefully worded. Raymond, I think there's been a serious misunderstanding. I'd like to talk when you're ready. What happened with Catherine was not my intention, and I'm sorry if she was hurt. I read it twice. The architecture of it is almost impressive. Not my intention. Sorry if she was hurt. An apology with no acknowledgement of what actually happened. Designed to give her just enough cover to say she tried. I don't respond. An hour later, she calls. Raymond, what the hell are you doing? No trace of the careful text, just fury. I'm withdrawing financial support. I already apologized. I sent you a message. You said you were sorry if Catherine was hurt. That's not an apology, Madison. That's a disclaimer. This is insane. We have a contract with the photographer. We have agreements. You have agreements with vendors I signed for. I'm the client, not you. You'll destroy Trevor's life over this? No. You made that choice when you decided humiliating his mother was acceptable. She hangs up. That night, Catherine asked me, did you really cancel the down payment? Yes. Ray, that's their house. I know. They'll lose everything. I know that too. She's quiet for a long time. I don't want you to do this for me if it's going to destroy your relationship with Trevor. Catherine, She pushed you into the dirt and laughed. Trevor watched and did nothing. I'm not funding that. I'm not rewarding it. I'm not pretending it didn't happen. What about grandchildren? We'll never see them now. That one hits me hard. Because she's right. If Trevor and Madison have kids, this decision means we probably won't be part of their lives. I know, I say. But I can't look at myself in the mirror if I keep giving money to someone who thinks it's okay to treat you like that. Wednesday. Paul Prescott calls. Madison's father. Ray, we need to talk about what happened at the wedding. I'm listening. Madison told me her side. She says Catherine was being difficult all day, interfering. Madison got frustrated and there was an incident. She says it's been blown out of proportion. Paul, your daughter physically pushed my wife into a mud puddle. 200 people saw it, including you. I saw something happen. I didn't see the full context. The context doesn't matter. You don't put your hands on someone and shove them to the ground. Ray, these girls get emotional. Weddings are stressful. Madison's apologized to Trevor. Can't we just move past this? Has she apologized to Catherine? Pause. I'll make sure she does. That's not what I asked. Ray, Trevor, and Madison are about to lose their house because you pulled the down payment. That's my daughter's future. Your daughter pushed my wife into the mud on her wedding day. Maybe she should have thought about her future before she did that. You're being vindictive. I'm being protective. There's a difference. He hangs up. That same afternoon, Trevor shows up at the house unannounced. I open the door and he's standing on the porch in the same clothes he was wearing the day before, like he slept in them. Maybe he did. I'm not here about the money, he says. I just need you to understand something. I let him in. Catherine stays in the kitchen. I can tell from the silence that she's listening. Madison isn't a bad person, he says. We're sitting in the living room. She gets afraid. When she feels like she's losing control of something important, she does stupid things. The wedding was the most important day of her life, and she felt like Mom was... Trevor. He stops. Your mother was walking back from the restroom. She wasn't doing anything. I know. He presses his hands together. I know that. But Madison had worked herself into a state all day. She'd convinced herself that Mom was trying to overshadow her. I knew it was irrational. I should have dealt with it before the reception. I didn't, and then it happened. And I froze. He looks at me. I froze, Dad. That's the truth. I knew it was wrong and I didn't move. You whispered something to her. She laughed. I said, let's get you a drink. I was trying to get her away from the crowd before she said something else. I wasn't making a joke. He pauses. I know how it looked. It looked like you were choosing her. I know. We sit with that for a moment. I'm not asking you to give us the money, he says again. I just wanted you to know that I'm aware I failed and that I'm sorry. You need to tell your mother that. He goes into the kitchen. I don't follow. I can hear their voices. Low. Careful. Catherine cries at some point. Trevor does too, I think. When he leaves an hour later, nothing is resolved. But something has shifted. 3 days after that conversation, Madison calls Catherine directly. Catherine tells me about it that evening. She asked me to apologize to her for undermining her at the wedding. Catherine's voice is completely flat. She said that if I did, she'd consider forgiving me. I go to my phone, open the banking app, navigate to the education fund, $50,000, set up 2 years ago for grandchildren who don't exist yet. I close it out, transfer it back to my main account. I don't tell Trevor. He'll find out when he needs to know. Friday morning, Trevor calls. Dad, we lost the house. The sellers are keeping the earnest money. $10,000 gone. I'm sorry to hear that. Are you? Because you caused it. No, Trevor. Madison caused it when she assaulted your mother. I just stopped funding the consequences. We're going to have to move in with Madison's parents. Do you understand that? We're going to be living in her childhood bedroom because you decided to play games with our lives. I'm not playing games. I'm drawing a line. This is cruel. What's cruel is pushing a 61-year-old woman into the dirt for entertainment. What's cruel is your wife calling your mother dramatic for being upset about it. What's cruel is you standing there watching. I've apologized. To me. Not to your mother. Not really. Silence. Trevor, you chose wrong at that wedding. Now you're living with the consequences. If you want those consequences to change, you know what has to happen. Madison says she won't apologize. She says Mom owes her the apology. Then you're going to have a very expensive marriage. I hang up. Over the next month, the isolation is total. Trevor stops calling. Madison blocks us on social media. Jennifer reports that Trevor and Madison are fighting constantly. The financial pressure, the blame, the shame of moving in with her parents. In July, Madison's maid of honor, Vanessa, posts the video she took of the push on TikTok with the caption, "When the ML tries it at your wedding." It goes viral. 400,000 views in 2 days. The comments are split. Half are horrified. The other half think it's funny. Catherine sees it. She closes her laptop and goes to the bedroom without a word. I already have the video saved. I call Trevor that evening. "I need you to watch something." I send him the file, the version I saved the night of the wedding, before Vanessa's post, before any of this became public entertainment. He calls back 20 minutes later. He doesn't say anything at first. "That's the full thing," I say, "including what happens after. Watch her face when she walks away." "I've seen it." "No. You saw what was in front of you that night. You didn't see what everyone else saw." I let that sit. "That video is going to follow your family for a long time. I want you to understand what you're defending." He hangs up without answering, but he doesn't call back to argue. In August, Jennifer tells me Trevor and Madison are in marriage counseling. Madison blames Trevor for not protecting the down payment. Trevor blames Madison for alienating you. "It's bad, Dad." "Are they separating?" "I don't know. Maybe." September, Catherine says, "I want to try talking to Trevor, just to see if we can fix this." "Are you sure?" "No, but I miss my son." She calls him. They talk for an hour. When she hangs up, she's been crying, but her voice is steady. He says he's sorry. He says Madison is who she is and he can't change her. He says he wants us in his life, but Madison won't allow it unless I apologize for creating drama. "You didn't create anything. I know that. And I'm not going to apologize for being pushed into the mud." She looks at me. "But Ray, I think we need to find a way to keep the door open for Trevor without making it conditional on Madison's behavior. He's stuck. And if we make him choose between us and his marriage, we might lose him entirely." "What are you suggesting?" "I'm suggesting we tell him he's welcome here, that our relationship with him isn't contingent on what happens with her, and that if the marriage ends, he doesn't have to rebuild from zero with us." I think about that for a long time. "That's different from forgiving Madison." "Yes," she says. "It is. She's right, and I know it." October, Trevor and Madison separate. Officially, Jennifer tells me Madison moved out, went back to her parents' house. Trevor's devastated. He's asking if he can come see you. Tell him the door's open. He comes the next weekend. Thin, tired, carrying the specific exhaustion of someone who has been arguing with himself for months, and finally stopped. "Dad, I'm sorry. For all of it. For not defending Mom. For choosing wrong. For everything." We're sitting in the living room. Catherine is in the kitchen making coffee. "What happened?" I ask. "The money thing broke us. Madison couldn't handle living with her parents. Couldn't handle being seen as the couple who lost their house. She blamed me for not managing you differently. Said I should have found a way to make you give us the money. When I said I couldn't make you do anything, she said I was weak." He pauses. "Maybe I am. I should have stopped her at the wedding. You told me that already." He nods. I needed to say it again. Catherine comes in with coffee. She sets a cup in front of Trevor and sits down. "Trevor," she says quietly, "I forgave you a while ago, but I need you to understand something. Your wife pushed me into the mud and laughed. You watched, and then for months neither of you apologized. Not really. I spent that time thinking my son cared more about his wife's ego than his mother's dignity. I knew it was wrong." He says, "I've always known." "I know," she says. "That's why we're here." We talk for 2 hours. It doesn't fix everything, but it's a start. In November, Trevor files for divorce. Madison contests it. Wants alimony, wants the wedding costs reimbursed, wants half of Trevor's retirement account even though they were married for less than a year. In December, I'm diagnosed with early-stage prostate cancer. Treatable, the doctor says. Good prognosis. Caught early. When I tell Catherine, she sits down on the edge of the bed and takes my hand. Okay, we deal with it. I call Trevor that same evening. He drives over without being asked. Sits with us until late. We don't talk about Madison or money or the wedding. We talk about other things. I sit Trevor down the next day and tell him I'm updating my will. You're still in it, I say. But there are conditions. Any inheritance is yours alone. It goes into a trust that protects it from future spouses. I understand. And Trevor, I don't regret pulling that down payment. I don't regret canceling the vendors. Because your mother didn't deserve what Madison did. I know, Dad. There's still a distance between us, but we're both standing on the same side of it now. In January, Madison's divorce attorney contacts mine. She's dropped the alimony demand. She just wants it over. The divorce finalizes in March. Trevor moves into a small apartment downtown. Starts over at 36. Catherine and I see him once a week for dinner. We're rebuilding something that broke at a wedding reception when 200 people watched cruelty happen, and one person decided not to fund it anymore. In April, Jennifer announces she's pregnant. First grandchild. Catherine cries with joy. Will you help with childcare? Jennifer asks. Every day if you need us, Catherine says. That night, lying in bed, Catherine asks me, do you think we did the right thing? I protected you. That's all I know how to measure. But we lost a year with our son. We lost a year because he made a choice. I just refused to fund the consequences. Jennifer's baby is due in September. Catherine has already started knitting blankets. Trevor asked if he could be in the delivery room. I want to be a good uncle, he said. You will be, I told him. We're rebuilding, slowly, with honesty now where there wasn't enough before. And every time I write a check for Jennifer, for the baby furniture, for the nursery renovations, I don't wonder if I'm being too generous, because generosity was never the problem. The problem was funding someone who thought hurting my wife was funny. The wedding photos were never delivered, so there's no official record of that day, just 200 witnesses, and a marriage that lasted less than a year, and a choice I made to stop funding cruelty even when it cost me my son for a while. Sometimes Trevor mentions Madison. She's engaged again, to her ex from college. Good for her, I say, and mean it. We don't talk about the wedding anymore. The terrace, the mud, the microphone. But sometimes I'll catch Catherine looking at her hands and I know she's back there. And I will never regret stopping that, even on the days when it still hurts. If you made it this far, thank you for listening. If this story meant something to you, subscribe to the channel. There are more stories like this one. And click on the video showing up on your screen right now. Trust me, you'll want to hear what happens next.